Mana punya? Oh, okay. So here we have, can we start the tutorial question number 5? How do you see the question? Is it easy or what?
Alright.
Alright, I think that to be fair, maybe I have to spend 10 minutes just to have some revision on this trust topic. Why? Because based on the feedback, the one that you have included in your attendance form last class, alright, some of you are still not very clear about the trust itself, and there are some of you are actually still confused between the type of trust, and then whether to compute trust income or to compute distributable income, and some of you are still not sure how to compute the statutory income of the beneficiary, right? So if I were to just hopefully, all right, please pray that our pen will work well, okay? So if I were to say that, okay, you know that you have trust, there are two types of trust. One is the non-discretionary trust, and the other one is discretionary trust. Yeah. So what happened to the non-discretionary or discretionary trust? It means that the implication is on the beneficiary. Yeah. So because the beneficiary, the statutory income, all right, of the beneficiary equals to of the entitlement. Whatever the entitlement, all right, of the beneficiary, that will be the statutory income of the beneficiary, disregarded on how much the beneficiary actually received the income, right? But to a discretionary trust, the income of the SI, all right, the income, the statutory income of the beneficiary will depends on the whichever lower. So whichever lower, then you have to compute whether how much is the entitlement and how much is the money actually received. So whichever lower, that will be the statutory income of the beneficiary under discretionary trust. Okay, all right. So then you have the tax com. Then you have to compute tax com of the trust. All right. So the first thing that you have to compute on the trust is the total income. All right. Total income is based on your Income Tax Act 1967 lah. Right, so whatever the law, that means that you're starting from section 4A, C, D, E, F, your adjusted income, your statutory income, your aggregate income, and then your total income. So that is your total income of the trust. So that the objective is actually to compute the total income of the trust. Okay. Total income, so you have to follow, and then of course here you have to consider also under the trust income, you do also have the annuity payable. Yeah, total income of the trust, and whatever you have, normally you times by 24%. Under normal circumstances, trust will pay tax on the total income, so means that then later only they will distribute to the beneficiaries. All right. Then you also have the other concept of what we call distributable income. All right, distributable income is the what we say that is a based on cash basis. Yeah, so you have to compute the distributable income because that is the actual amount of cash that the company, the trust have. Right, so that will also determine how much the trust can actually pay to the beneficiary. So the more importantly, because you want to compute distributed income when you have whenever you have accumulation in the trust, mean that you have to put aside certain amount of money to any of the beneficiaries. Yeah, so accumulation, whenever you have accumulation, then you have to compute distributable income. Why? Because from here you want to know how much is the deemed total income of the trust. Yeah, so why? Because remember that just now when you compute your total income of the trust, right, so this one you're going to give to beneficiary. All right, beneficiary 1 and beneficiary 2, and always at the beneficiary level is always assessed at gross. Assessed at gross. So even though tax has been paid on the total income by the trustee, all right, we're going to assess whatever received by the trustee or by the beneficiary at gross, right? So last time we give example is that you have total income of 100 and then you times by 24%, so it means that you are left with 76. So you're going to divide this into B1 and B2. But on the B1, we always assess at gross. It means that you're going to divide this based on the total income at gross. It means that the total income before you actually pay tax. Yeah. So then you're going to assuming that it's a 50%, right? 50% each. So you're going to get here 50 and here is also 50. You assess at gross. But later, all right, you're going to give then you give credit. All right, you are going to give tax credit. How much is the tax credit? In this case, each one will given tax credit of 24%. Right? Okay. What else? Okay. But all right, remember that when you want to divide between the beneficiaries, all right, then you have to compute. You do another table, right? You have in this case, for example, you have. Let me do it here. Right? You have beneficiary 1, you have beneficiary 2, let's say you have beneficiary 3. Okay? So let's say that this one is a non-discretionary and this one is a discretionary and discretionary. Let's say that discretionary portion is 50%. All right, and the balance here is 30% and here is 20%. Okay, so what happened is that these, all right, whatever your deemed total income or even your total income, you must first divide between how much is the portion for your non-discretionary and your discretionary portion. All right, so let's say that in this case, let's assume you the deemed total income. Am I too fast? Macam okay je? Hello?
Yes, Doctor.
So maknanya I lag juga?
Yes.
I'm very fast, yeah?
Okay, kami.
Okay, yeah. Slow down. Okay, this one is very important because normally student they miss dekat this point. Okay, so assuming that whether it's a total income or is a deemed total income, right? You have to decide how much is the portion for non-discretionary and discretionary portion. So for example here, you have 50 here. Why 50? Because kan nampak sini 50% is the non-discretionary portion and the balance 50% is also non-discretionary portion. Nampak? But the discretionary portion later you're going to divide between beneficiary 2 and beneficiary 1. So the beneficiary 1 is 50%. The discretionary portion you're going to divide between B2 and B3. So B2 I get how much is 30%. Alright, and this one is 20%. You get that? So let's assume that the total trust income is 100, right? So assuming that is 100, so what you do is that your this one is based on total income, yeah? So here you get 50 and here you got 30 and 20. Do you get that? Okay. Maybe because if I were to make it, for example, here is 60, right? Let's make it okay. Let's make it 60 kat sini tau. Okay. You can make it 60. So kat sini instead of 50 jadi berapa? Dia jadi
40.
Okay. From that 40%, you're going to give that 30%. Boleh tak 30% macam tu? 30%. Then you're going to divide half-half. Soalannya macam tu. 60% then you are going to divide half-half. So let's make it, cara 2020 tak jadi kan? So let's make it whatever you have left here. So will be divided between the beneficiaries 50% each. Okay? Okay. So what happened here is that kalau 60%, okay. Okay, what happened now? Non-discretionary berapa persen tadi? 60%. Right? And means that 60% out of the 100 dia akan dapat 60,000. Okay? But the balance, 40%, you're going to divide between the two. How much is the balance? 40, right? So each one will get 20%, 20,000. So this one is 50, this one is 50. Nampak tak? So you have to decide first. Tak keluar pula. Okay. You have to decide first the how to divide between number one, non-discretionary and discretionary portion first. Alright. Then only based on the amount that you divide further to the beneficiaries. Right. I can have under non-discretionary, I can have B1 and B4 for example. But that 60% will be divided according to the entitlement between B1 and B4. But the discretionary portion is between B2 and B3, then I divide accordingly lah. Yeah. So but then because this one, remember that non-discretionary, and then you also have the other amount received, actually received. How much is that? For example, let's say that here is, okay, let's say amount received by ND is 50, let's say lah ya. Here is 40 and let's say I would just want to make macam beza sangat I make it 25 and 15. Okay. So now you have to decide how much is the statutory income. Right? Because now you have to decide one that goes to income tax is the statutory income. So how much the SI for B1? Anyone? The entitlement is 60, amount received is 50. My question is, what is the statutory income of B1?
50.
60.
That's why, because non-discretionary is always based on the entitlement. But what about B2? Why the SI?
20.
Why? Because we take the lower of, yeah? The lower of 20 and 25, we take 20, but for B3,
15.
15. It could be for the discretionary, it could be the total income to be the SI, it could also be the amount received to be the SI depending on the scenario. Alright, so that's the importance of knowing whether it's an ND or is it a discretionary. But remember that you must divide the total income or the deemed total income to these two portions first, then only you allocate accordingly to the beneficiary. Yeah. Does that help you to understand the topic better? Okay. Okay, now we talk about section 61A because question number 5 is on 61A, right? Okay, 61A says that, all right, under normal circumstances, all right, your trust will pay tax on the total income. But 61A says that, okay, trust don't pay tax, all right, trust will not pay tax on total income, but the beneficiary pay. Beneficiary pay tax. Alright, so it means that in this case, the beneficiary will be assessed at gross. Similarly, as even if you don't apply 61A, you will always be assessed at gross, but there will be no tax credit. Why? Because tax has not been paid on the trust income. Yeah, so trust here, there's no tax liability on the trust. Whatever tax on the trust will be paid by the beneficiaries. So that is when we say that we apply section 61A. So the good thing about here is that, remember that the difference is that initially, for example, if the trust is total income is 100, all right, you actually receive 100. All right, means that instead of receiving 76,000, all right, the beneficiary actually receive gross of 100, then only later pay tax. When you pay tax in the following year. All right, normally individual, for example, you pay in maybe in April or maybe in June, depending on the type of income that you receive. Yeah, so actually the good thing is that the cash flow to the beneficiaries. All right, rather than you pay tax by the trust, you pay tax by the beneficiary, but you pay that later. And whatever amount paid later is actually based on your individual tax rate lah. Alright, and of course does not give a difference because tax is always on the individual will be at the scale rate. So whatever tax credit given, most likely because the trust is taxed at 24%, right? So the individual tax at the scale rate provided that he is a resident person, right? So most likely beneficiary will get a tax refund because of the tax credit paid by the trust. But in the case where you apply 61A, there will be no tax paid by the trust. B, all right, the beneficiary will be taxed at the on the gross amount that he received. Yeah. Okay. Question for that so far? Okay. I think okay. Another problem with the trust actually it's just that the composition of trust is very straightforward, all right? But the problem is for the student to determine the starting from profit before tax, then you come to your adjusted income, all right? You are not sure because the story is very long in between here. So what happens is that student may think that okay, the expenses is allowable or non-allowable, all right, or maybe there is an adjustment. So you have to decide on this part in order to compute the trust income correctly. Yeah, so that is a revision. I think that is all about the trust, right? Anything that I miss?
Doctor,
Yeah.
what is the difference of the tax computation between applying the section 61A and not applying the section 61A?
The difference is that trust, when you compute trust total income, right? Total income of the trust, you stop there. So that is total income. So you don't compute the tax liability 24% for the trust because for 61A, trust do not actually pay tax. So you compute total income dia je. Okay. But to the beneficiary, you have to compute what is the income from the trust. You are going to divide the income and then you have to compute the tax liability of the beneficiary under normal circumstances. Yeah, because you want to see because you whatever tax liability, there's no such thing as what we give tax credit to the beneficiary because why you apply 61A. There's a difference. Actually, all right, whether tax paid at the trust level or tax paid at the beneficiary level, all right, is always the same amount of tax actually being paid on the trust income. But whether you pay now by the trust or you pay later by the beneficiary. Both ways, all right, our government will get the money from the tax. It's just that if collect from trust, they will get it earlier. But collect from individual, they will collect later, which is the following year. That's why they kena apply. You have to apply to Inland Revenue Board in order for you to use 61A because it has to be on case-to-case basis. Kena ada approval to apply 61A. Alright? Okay, anything else?
Understood.
Sorry?
Understood.
Okay, let's go to question number. Mana tutorial question I tak keluar? Okay, question number 5. Alright, question number 5. Given all this information, you are required to calculate the trust tax payable by the trust body. So that's why here you have to compute in this case 61A does not apply. So bila 61A not apply is under normal. This one means that normal circumstances, that's how you do it. Alright, this one is the normal computation. Alright, compute the tax payable by the trust. In order to do this, you have to compute the total income of the trust. Number 2, calculate tax payable if provision is applicable. So what do you think for this answer? Calculate tax payable by the trust body. What will be the answer for this without looking at the information?
None.
It's made non-tax payable.
Nil, because when you apply 61(2)(a), 61(2), all right, then you do not actually pay tax at the trust body. Also, the jawapan dia nil or 0. Dah, question number 2 settle. Question number 3, calculate beneficiary income from body under 1 and 2. In this case, dia nak statutory income je. Whether you apply 1 or 2, sama akan jawapan dia. You see? Because it's not that the difference between 61.2 apply ke tak, the difference is actually on the tax liability. Because ada tax credit. But statutory income will still the same because the statutory income is based on whether it's a discretionary or non-discretionary. The SI. Okay, let's do it together. Alright, a non-discretionary trust has been set up by Mr. Kim for the benefit of beneficiaries. Mr. Ko has been appointed as trustee to the trust body, and then you have Eun Sang paid 1,000 per month, and then the trustee allowed to 10, even though it says here as is allowed to deduct 10,000, but that amount is not for income tax purpose. Yeah, yes, Mr. Ko can receive 10,000 ringgit per annum for his services, but that amount is not allowed to be deducted in arriving to your total income based on the Income Tax Act. Yeah, and the remainder will be equally divided between two sons for their maintenance and education. So in this case, you have to compute business, rental, interest and dividend, and then you also given expense. Kita dah discuss belum soalan nombor 5 ni?
Not yet.
Belum.
Macam dah je. Okay. So in this case, this one is the expenses related to your business. So you have to do adjustment lah because this one is given as gross. So you have to compute the adjusted income from the business. So it means that your business gross, you can always minus your revenue expenditure. Right? This one you cannot deduct because it's capital in nature. But then from your adjusted income, you minus capital allowance, then you come to your statutory income. Right? Don't tell me that, oh, I'm not sure about the tax computation. Right? Because at this level, advanced level, I do not want to listen to that excuse. If you think that your tax com, right, is not good enough, then you have to put extra. Right? You have to put extra effort so that you know your tax computation. Alright, and then expenses, and then you have rented income under section 4D. So then your rented income here again is given as gross, then you tolak lah. You tolak your allowable expense, this one is allowable, depreciation is not allowed, then you can also minus your assessment. So from here you get your adjusted income, alright, from your Malaysian. Then from there what do you compute? Aggregate income. How much your aggregate income? Oh, ada lagi income kat atas lah, sorry. You ada rented interest of 48,000. Remember, interest is not exempted for the trust. And dividend here is a dividend. I assume that it's a final because it's from a Malaysian. Alright, it doesn't say it's from overseas, so it's a final. So how much will you have? If I were to do a quick calculation, 160 plus 100 plus minus. What is your aggregate income? Macam semua dah buat tadi.
245,500.
445.
Very good. Kira kat calculator pun boleh dapat 245.500. Do you get this? That will be your aggregate income. Alright. And then unless you have under answer, then you minus your annuity. How much is your annuity? 12,000, isn't it? 1,000 per month, so 12,000 lah. So from here you get your total income. There's no approved donation, there's no other thing that you are delayed. Minus 12, so you should get 233,500. Is that yours? Answer? Total income? Okay. Now, given 233,500, then you're going to divide this between your beneficiary, B1 and B2, 50% each. Okay, tell me, is this a discretionary or non-discretionary trust?
Non-discretionary.
No, because it's clearly mentioned equally ni dah ada kat sini. So non-discretionary. So bila non-discretionary divide by 2, so 116,750, right? So this is the amount of the entitlement. So because non-discretionary, so the statutory income would be this amount lah. Whether, alright, whether you pay, you apply 61.2 or you don't apply, the answer is the same. So actually this question is very dia nak test you je lah sebenarnya. Right, so that will be your answer lah for, you have your answer for trust total income, which is this one, right? This is your trust total income, and then calculate tax payable is 0. Of course you have to explain lah, alright, because you apply section 61.2, then tax will not be charged on the trust, but will be charged on the beneficiary. Therefore, your trust total income is 0 or nil. And the beneficiary statutory income, you show you're working here, and then because it's a non-discretionary trust, then the statutory income will be 116,750. So how is your, I lupa nak buka I punya, sekejap ya, I try buka. Okay, mana question number 5? Okay, kat sini apa? 2, sama tak? 2, 3, 3, alright. In this case, alright, you are not actually required to compute distributable income. So actually you don't have to have this pun. Okay, you don't have this one, no need. Don't compute because you are not required pun to compute distributable income. Okay, so your 233 is your total income of the trust. Let's see whether, okay, kat sini dia just show macam ni lah. Right, total income 160 minus 40 minus CA. Kalau I macam this one, I still want you to show me just income minus CA, statutory income. So that's how it should be lah. Macam ni. Ni sama tak? This is my answer actually, my format. Yeah. Adjusted income, capital allowance, statutory income, then you have interest, dividend, rental income, then you minus accordingly, then you have your aggregate income, and then annuity of 12,000, then you have your total income 233,500. Alright. Okay, let's see that if you apply not applicable, alright, trust, mana dapat 56,040? G141, this tax liability. Kenapa ada benda ni ya? Oh, dia kata tax payable when 61.2 is not applicable. 0 lah. It's not, betul, salah.
Not applicable.
Not applicable maknanya you tax at the trust level lah, betul lah. Yeah, so how do you get this? This is actually your total income times by 24%. Betul dah jawapan I tu. Okay, so if I say that it's not applicable, assess will always assess at gross, and then we give relief. Because soalan sebenarnya, the question asks for tax payable of the trust ke of the beneficiary?
Tax payable of the trust.
Trust. So kalau trust sebenarnya tak payah kira ni pun. This one is on the beneficiary. Right? So that one actually, this one is tak relevant pun. You don't have to answer this. Tapi kenapa I buat saja kot? Saja salah baca soalan. Okay. Assuming that you are required to assuming that you have to compute the tax liability of the beneficiary, right? This is how you do it lah. Alright, you always assess at gross in this case, right? And then your tax, then because you 61.2 tax paid at the trust level, so tax credit is given to each of the beneficiary. How you compute the tax credit is whatever tax paid, for example, income in this case, alright, assessed at gross ni you times by 24%. Right, if you compute this one, 116,750 times by 25%, 24%. Okay. Let's say that, for example, what is assessed at gross is because of the beneficiary punya discretionary punya trust. Right, because of the discretionary, your statutory income is based on your amount received, whichever is lower, isn't it? So assuming that the amount assessed is the lower, so in that case, your tax credit given is based on your whatever statutory income here. Alright? Whatever statutory income you have to plug in here, then the 24% tax credit is on that income. And this is where we assume that tax paid at the trust level. Do you understand what I'm saying now?
Yes.
Sebab assuming okay, kat sini you punya assuming your son too is this one is let's say that is a non discretionary. So dia punya entitlement is 116,000, but let's say amount received is 100,000. Okay, 100,000. Can you see that? But the amount given as a tax credit is not based on the 24% of the total income, is given as minus 0.24 of your statutory income. Nampak? So government will only give refund based on that amount, not 28,000. Yeah, the tax credit given to the beneficiary is on the amount assessed. Why instead of 116 you assess on 100? Because assuming that it's a discretionary trust, we take the lower off. Okay, so let's say that for example sini non-discretionary, sini discretionary trust. Alright, because of that, alright, the son number 1 will be assessed on the entitlement, which is 50% of the total income, but son 2 is assessed on the 100,000 based on the amount he actually received, because discretionary based on whichever is lower. So you compare lah, entitlement is 116, tapi you actually receive 100, then we assess you at 100. But on the tax credit, alright, son 1 will be given on the amount gross here, which is actually 28,020, but son 2 even because you are assessing 100,000, the tax credit given to you is only on that 100,000. So in other words, the government, alright, untung lah. Why the government untung? Because government actually collected 56,000 from the trust, but the credit given to the taxpayer is only 52,000. Siapa yang untung?
Government.
Government. That's why they suka kalau you pay tax at the trust level. Alright, because that's how it works Alright, if you have paid more, alright, then you cannot claim back from the government. That's how it works. Okay, if you look at here, alright, we assume that katalah kat sini, in this case, let's say that 100,000. That's right. 9,000. Okay, this one will be different because why? For son 1, alright, because amount is more than 100,000, so this is the tax rate. First 100,000 and the balance at 24%. But for son 2, because dia punya amount is lower, so you punya chargeable income is below 100,000. So bila below 100,000, how much the tax rate? I tak ingat I say 7,000. Alamak, I don't have it now. Let's say, okay, let's assume that, I'm not sure, hopefully I'm referring to 2019 punya textbook. The tax rate for mana tak lupa lah pula. Reference. Oh, ni buku advanced tax. Advanced tax tak ada tax rate. Alright, it cannot be 10,900. I think 7,000. I do not know. I tak tahu. Right, and this one maybe at 19% only. Right, 19%. Again, I'm not sure. 0.19. Okay, so whatever you have to akan jadi lower lah. Alright, so you have to compute accordingly. So then you see that your tax liability, there's no tax credit given because why? Is you apply 61(2). Itu je lah. Okay, so that is on question number 5. Any question? Semua dapat correct?
Yes, doctor.
Very good. Alright. Oh, okay, let's go to question number 6. Kat mana question number 6 ah? Baik. Nah, punya PDF. Hilang pula. Okay. Question number 6, we have a trust set up by Mr. Handsome. Okay, siapa yang dah buat soalan ni? The first one almost the same. Yeah, but then sama lah soalan dia, senang sangat lah. Wah, senang sangat soalan ni. Okay, siapa rasa fed up? Siapa give up on this question? Anyone? Wah, bagusnya. Semua boleh buat Okay, tell me what's your total income of the trust before we do this together. Let's take. What's your total income? We can have several answers. Anyone?
Mine is
Find 156 700, 204 700, 156 700, 156 700. Wah, 156 700 lah kot. Agaknya. Okay, ada tadi 247 ke? Is it? Nanti kita tengok. Tanta. Di mana dia? Check. 156, 12,000? Bang! Too little lah, 12,000. 245 500.
Oh bukan, this one is for annuity. The
Soalan
previous question.
ada mesti kat Aina ni kan. Soalan ada tax payable by the trust body. Sorry. Aina total income ya. Total income. 204 700 ambil. 156 700, 156 700. Okay. Habis dah? Tak ada dah? Zero. Oh, ke you kira tax liability ke apa? 233 500 Shahin. Okay, which number?
Doctor, this one the previous question.
Sorry?
The one you were now reading 233 500 the previous question answer. This one is start from Hanisa bin Jinsani 156 700.
Mana tadi Yang ni Itu 4500. Is it 233 500? Yang ni ke you jawab tadi? Yang panjang ni?
Yes, doctor. This one the previous one that time.
Ayah, I pula perasan. Sekejap. Kenapa I punya tak keluar sini ni? Okay, now let's look at your answer. Ada mana ni? Ni semua salah ni. Okay, let's give question number 6. Question number 6, please. Tak ada. Okay, question number 6, total income.
168 700.
168 700.
168 700 lagi. Wah, unanimously. Is it?
Ada yang jawab 156 700.
Okay, ada 12,000 different tu. Mesti dekat annuity. Lagi? Tak ada dah?
Tu je doktor.
168 700. The difference here is 12,000 tu, the annuity. Cik punya jawapan apa? Is this question number 6? I tak tahu Total income. 156 700. Ada tak 156 700? Ni. Agaknya lah. I'm not sure whether that's correct or not. Let's look together. A trust been set up by Mr. Handsome, been appointed as a trustee, did contain, okay, Evelyn paid, bila paid ni is an annuity ya. And then 1,000 paid, again is this accumulation or annuity?
Accumulation.
What's the difference between annuity and accumulation?
Annuity will be paid every year, but then accumulation when the condition is met.
Yeah. You bila annuity paid, that's why namanya month paid to daughter, right? Paid. So you akan bayar dia every month. But accumulation, alright, you also put aside 1,000 tapi you don't pay to the daughter. Alright, so she will not receive anything from the trust until she reaches 21 years old. Then whatever accumulated will be paid one off. Right? So that's the difference between accumulation dengan annuity. Right? And after that, she will be entitled for 1 quarter. So then you have to see how old is the daughter this year. So in this case, you're looking at 2019. The trustee allowed 12,000 administering the trust body. And the remainder of the trust is to be divided between 1/3 to not sister. So this one is a non-discretionary, and the remaining 2/3. So that's why you have to divide between ND dengan D. So this one and deemed fit. So means that this is the discretionary portion. Okay, and then you are given business rental interest dividend, and then now you are still 19 years old. So means that you are going to continue paying annuity. Not accumulation, yeah, annuity. Both sides attending local university. Expenses, you have revenue expense. This one is on business. So similar to the question below, question earlier. Right, renovation, this one is business, is allowable. This one you cannot deduct. And then this one you can claim. Expenses incurred in Malaysia, rented property, similar kan? Alamak, senang sangatlah soalan ni. Because I have done question number 5. And then this is the amount that you actually received. And then because why is it important? Because this one is a discretionary trust. Then you have to compare whichever is lower. Betul? Okay. So calculate the tax payable by the trust body. So in this case, I think that the format, okay. Do you need to compute distributable income? No need. Right? So I will block this. Kenapa you tak payah kira distributable income?
Because doesn't have accumulation.
No accumulation. Tak boleh lah pula hide this column hide. Nanti you pening kepala. Okay, so there's no accumulation, then you don't have to compute the distributable income. Yeah, you have statutory income, so it means that business income minus revenue expenses. You cannot claim any renovation, then you have your adjusted income. Okay, and then minus capital allowance, then you have your SI. Dividend is final. Interest, because interest is from UK, so it's a foreign source income, is exempted. Rental gross 100,000 minus all allowable expenses, then you have adjusted rental income. Is your aggregate income 179,500? It should be, yeah. So that your aggregate income minus annuity to the wife, annuity to the, so the difference between the answer just now, I think that because you take the 12,000, right, you tak take out the 12,000 annuity. So that's why your total income is extra by, you have additional 12,000 ringgit total income, right? And some, alright, may think that this one is the accumulation, right? Actually, the intention is actually to make it as an accumulation. But because we put it wrongly, that we make actually pay to the daughter, then it becomes annuity. Right, so your total income is 156. So you always have this 156,700. Okay, now you're going to divide. My daughter kan, dia punya ni dia ada draw tau. I tak ada draw. I tak boleh nak draw. So remember that this 156, right? Whatever income that you receive, in this case, let's see that this one is question number 6. Alright, you have a total income of 156, is it 700?
Yes.
Okay, you're going to divide between two. One is non-discretionary, the other one is the discretionary portion. So, how much is the non-discretionary?
1/3.
Divide by 3. Right, so you have 52,233. And the balance, salah. 156,700 times 2/3, you akan ada 104. Betul? This one is the portion for discretionary. And then you're going to divide this one between Sun 1 and Sun 2. So how much is the Sun 1, Sun 2? Is it equally? Deemed fit. Alright. So in this case, the 2/3 is given to 2 Sun as deemed fit by the trustee. But you do not know how much is the deemed fit decided by the trustee. But you know that, alright, you do have here, alright, the amount received by the sons is 81,000. Right? So you can actually use that, alright, to determine the ratio for Sun 1 and Sun 2, or eldest son and second son. Right? So that's why in my answer, alright, I say that okay, this is a tax to be paid by the trust, but the deemed trust is that non-discrete portion is 1/3. This is 152,233, but the 2/3 is 104. So how I decide is that, remember that total amount received 45 and 36,000. So total amount received is 81,000. So using this information, you decide on the entitlement for each based on the amount received. So that's how you get 45,000 over 81,000. You should get 0.56 or 56%. And second son actually get 44%. So it's not about 50% here. Mana dapat 50% ya? Ada mention kan? So you cannot assume equally ya. So deemed trust income based on this portion, how much? How do you get this? 58,037?
0.56 times 104,467.
Yes,
Is
betul. This one. This amount ya. Alright, 104,467 times by 0.56, you akan dapat 58,037 because this is the discretionary portion. Alright, similarly, the same amount, 104,467 times by 0.44, you should get 46. So if you total up these two, alright, you should get back 104,467. But what is the statutory income of the beneficiary? Okay, if I were to... Yes?
Kenapa macam tak dapat?
Okay, lain sekali. Apa yang tak dapat? Ni.
0.56 times 104,467 equal to 58,501. 502.
Lain sekali, you buat lain sekali. Mana you dapat tak 104 ni? Because the 156,700 is the total income.
Yes.
Right? Total income, you're going to divide 1/3 on the non-discretionary portion, 2/3 for discretionary portion dulu. Buat tak?
What?
Okay. And then this one is actually how I get this is 45 divided by 81. See? Ini divide by betul? Mana yang tak dapat ni sekali?
0.56 times 10.
Doctor, maybe cannot use decimal. If times with 5/9, you get 58,037. The 45,000 over 80,000 is 5/9.
45 over 81.
Yes, equal to 5/9. And then times with
104,467. So you akan dapat
58,037.
Sama lah.
No, maybe cannot use the portion with decimals. Yeah. Because
Kalau I pakai calculator, I buat 45,000 divide by 81,000
yes.
dapat 0.555555. Okay. Darabkan dengan times by 104 467, I get 50580372222216.
Yes, yes.
Betul?
Yes.
You yang tak dapat macam mana?
I made a mistake by just times the decimal with the 104,467.
But I do the same using calculator, I get the same figure.
Because it is 0.55555.
Oh.
No, doctor. If
Yes.
we use 0.56 times 104,467, the answer
Oh,
will
I
be
see.
different.
Kalau you
Yeah.
tahu 0.56 darabkan dengan 104,467, is it?
Yeah.
I dapat 0, banyaknya. Dia sekali. 0.56.
Yes.
Darabkan dengan 104,467. 58,501.
That's the difference.
Oh.
Yes.
Yes.
Macam mana nak buat tu Tapi katalah I buat, I'm a student, I pakai calculator. Dapat 45 over 81 times by 104,467. I akan dapat 58,037. Nah, tak apalah, tak kisahlah. Janji.
Yes.
Janji betul. Right? So it's about that lah. So totality kat sini mesti 104 kan? Mesti. Mana boleh tak sama? Alright. So the statutory income for the sister would be 52,223. But here, what is the statutory income? Because it's a discretionary trust, it would be the lower of. Okay, even though deemed gross income 58, we take the lower of. So that will be the SI for the beneficiary. Soalan dia nak apa? Statutory income from the beneficiary. Don't forget, you also have the daughter and the wife. The statutory income from the annuity is 12,000 and how much is the wife? Annuity 10,800. Wait, balik. Okay, so don't forget these two item ya. Sometimes student forget dah hilang two ticks because dia nak beneficiaries. All the beneficiaries, not only son 1 and son 2, sister, but you also have the daughter which is annuity terbalik lah, macam terbalik je. Is it? Yang 10,800 siapa?
Wife.
Evelyn wife. Okay. Okay, boleh? So far okay tak?
Okay, doctor.
Okay.
Alright, that's good. Let's go to question number 7. Okay, what's your total income for question number 7? You nak total income of the trust. Let me have the answer.
Before or after accumulation?
36.
Oh, I nak total income. Bila I cakap total income, you kena bagi I total income. Bukan deemed total income.
369785.
Wah, lajunya. Lagi sekali.
369785.
785. Interesting. Okay, lagi?
339785.
30,000 different. Lagi? Dua je?
331785.
Woi, makin kurang ni. Lagi?
Three,
Tak ada.
4,994.
I get
334?
334,994.
Okay, lagi?
I get 374429.
374?
429.
Again? Okay.
429.
I ask you one more question. 429, right? Any more? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So far we have 5 different answers. How many is your lecturer?
One.
One.
So I teach separately. Never mind. Okay, let's see what would be your total income. I'm not sure whether my answer is correct or wrong. We check first. What I have here is total income 369,785. 369,785. So this would be my answer for the time being. Siapa punya answer ni? So means that maybe correct lah, yeah. Congratulations first lah in advance. Not sure whether correct or not lah. So let's look at the answer question now. Then you compute your statutory income of the beneficiary and taxative for Trust, George and Joanne. Okay, what happened here? Mr. Adam married to Mary Smith, 4 children, passed away in 2015 due to dengue. A few years earlier, prepared a will, other wife as the executor and 4 children as the beneficiaries. Mary's carry on the business of his after his death. Amount paid, Mary, annuity, first child, George, Joanne and Amanda. George is the non-resident. Mama tak solat. The will stated that George shall receive 1/4. George mana George? George is 1/4. You can ambil take information of this tau. And then and will be paid at the discretion of the executor. So this one is the discretionary. Even though it mentioned 1/4, right? It will be paid at the discretion of the executor. So it means that it's a discretionary trust. Even though it's mentioned 1/4. Do you get that? Okay. Joanne and Amanda paid 1/2 of the balance. So Joanne and Amanda is 1/2 of the balance. And accumulation of 30,000 for the last child. The trust receive income from, dia dah semayang lah Nis. So you have rental income, interest, dividend and dividend. June, okay. Okay, now sekejap I nak fahamkan ni. How many of you actually decided that George is a non-discretionary or should George is a discretionary?
Non-discretionary.
George shall receive 1/4 of the trust distributable income and will be paid.
Wait. Discretionary, my bad.
Lepas tu Joanne and shall be paid half balance of the trust. So means that Joanne and Amanda
Non-discretionary.
Non-discretionary.
I agree lah nak juga. Nanti I nak tengok jawapan I buat apa. Jawapan I George discretionary. Oh betul lah. George is discretionary and Joanne and Amanda is a non-discretionary. Okay, agree on that? Can we agree on that first? Okay, now you have rental income. Okay, then cerita dia. A stepsister filed a claim for a share of the trust income. Mary engaged a lawyer and then studied the claim carefully. Lawyer suggested that the trust settle the claim out of court. On his advice, Mary made payment of 65,000 to the stepsister, incurred legal fee of 15,000. An agreement was signed and shall relinquish all her rights to the trust income. Okay, so that is one cerita, right? You had the payment of 65,000 and 15,000 out of the trust income. Out of the trust lah, yeah. And then you have additional assessment for 2018. So now remember, you're doing taxcom for 2019. Taxcom of the trust. So whatever you have here is the 10,000 is for YA 2019. So you have to decide whether this tax amount or this amount 10,000 is a deductible expense for YA 2019. And then you manage the business and also matter arising to the trust. You charge 38,000 for managing the trust. Is that deductible?
No.
No.
No. Why? Because that is the expense incurred in managing the trust, not business, yeah. Okay, yang confuse-nya dia kata the various expenditure charged to the trust business account. So all these expenses, alright, you see that have appear in your trust account. Alright, under expenses. So you akan nampak lah dalam expenses tu ada pay for 10,000, payment for 38,000, payment for 15,000 and 65,000. So you have to decide lah. And they say that except for these charges, the tax agent confirm that the balance because dia kata of the above kan, these various expenses refer pada the expenses that you mentioned in the previous paragraph. Alright, agent confirm the balance of other expenses, alright, are in compliance with section 33. So other than this, everything is allowable expense. For the year assessment 2019, you have a capital allowance of 69, balancing allowance of 34. And then you have a balancing charge of 15,000. The trust has unabsorbed loss, right? And then unabsorbed CA of 80,000. Year end. Okay, now what you're given is that you have a gross business income of 815490 less expense. And remember that this expense ada dua. Satu, the non-allowable expense, and you also have allowable expense come to your profit before tax. Okay, the trust distributable income for the year ended before accumulation was, okay, you are given the distributable income 358598. So it means that, why? Because this one accumulation, you are given the distributable income, so you don't have to compute, right? You don't have to compute distributable income because it was given in the question. Why we give the amount? Because we don't want students have difficulty pula nak compute distributable income. Right, that information is very important to decide on the statutory income of the beneficiary. Okay, so now what happened? So how are you going to do this? All right, you remember that in this is all your business income. So you have to do adjustment for your business income. Given net income 466212. So there are two ways for you to do this. All right, remember that in computing your adjusted income, you can have your gross minus your allowable expense. Then you got adjusted income. So it means that you have to decide from all the expenses, you only want to compute the allowable expense only. Alright, you should get that. So it means that you know that, okay, then you have to decide. Or the other way is that for given net income, alright, whatever you have here plus your non-allowable expense. So then you get to your adjusted income. So adjusted income from this way, adjusted income from this way should be the same. So you have to decide whether these expenses is allowable or non-allowable expense. So this, is it allowable or non-allowable? Any idea?
Non-allowable.
Non-allowable. Why? Because on first paragraph, expenses incurred is for the claims. It's nothing to do with business income ke, nothing. It's nothing to do with your source of income which is taxable. Alright, so it means that this one is a domestic or what we call personal expenses. So this one is a non-allowable expense. What about your 10,000, all these legal fees? Is it allowable or not?
Not allowable.
Why is it non-allowable?
Because it's personal.
No. Is this related to the trust? This is related to the trust.
Because it paid to the income tax.
Yeah, it's related to income tax. It should be allowable. But this one is related to?
Not related to business.
Not related to business. No, if you have any tax, for example, tax filing is allowable, but this one is your YA 2018. What you are doing now is for 2019. So you cannot have the expenses for 2018 to be given as a deduction against your 2019, right? But even additional assessment, the tax payment is not actually deductible expense, right? For income tax, you can claim as allowable if the agent fee for compliance, all right, for tax filing, all that is allowable, even though there's a restriction. I think now it's 10,000 ringgit, right? But in this case, it's the amount of tax that you pay legal fee to manage the tax matter. So that tax matter is in relation to 2018, that's why it's not allowable. Yeah. So when you go through, you have to understand why is it allowable or why is it not allowable. Yeah. And the 38,000, of course, is not, because it's to manage the trust. Yeah. So that's one is not. So what you can do is that.
Doctor,
Yes.
doctor. For just now you said that the 2018 one, if let's say for 2018 that 10,000 would be allowable, is it?
It's not juga, tak juga. Yes, for 2018 this one is allowable because it's legal fee, right, to manage for 2018. But very unlikely, okay, katalah you dah submit your 2018 taxcom, you submit in 2019, right? Okay, and then you have to pay your legal fee of 10,000 to attend your 2018 year taxcom. Alright, so what happened is that legal fee should be deductible because that is related to tax obligation. Yeah, but kalau you nak claim legal fee 10,000, you have to resubmit now. You have to apply to RIB to revise your taxcom for 2018. Because why? Now you want to claim legal fee 10,000. You think RIB will allow? They will not allow. You can revise your taxcom either for company or individual, right? Especially individual lah. Only if there is additional tax to be paid or there is omission of income. But if you want to revise your taxcom for the purpose of you forget to claim relief or you have underclaim your expenses. So all these two will give a lower tax liability to the taxpayer. In these circumstances, RIB will not allow you to revise your taxcom. You can only revise your taxcom if it gives a higher tax liability or you have omitted an income or you have done something, you have miscalculated, but result must be higher tax liability. Because if lower, then you cannot claim, you cannot revise. Unless, all right, because of technical issues. That one you can write in lah. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay. So now, how are you going to compute adjusted income? Which method that you want to use?
Net income plus no allowable expenses.
Net income plus add back your non-allowable expenses. So either way, katalah you buat net income 466, you already know that this amount is non-deductible. You get the adjusted income of 594,212. Do you get that amount?
Yes.
Okay. But katalah you nak start from gross income, right? You nak tolak allowable expense only. So you know that total expense is 349,278. Then in order for you to compute what is your allowable expense, this one is actually your allowable. You from the total expense, you tolak lah non-allowable expense. Sama je lah. So at the end, these are allowable expenses. That is your adjusted income. Nampak tak? Figure dia sama tak? Right? Either way, that's why kita kata whether you do according to Income Tax Act, gross income minus allowable expense, you should get adjusted income. But in practice, if you're working in tax, alright, what you do is that given an account of the company, you will start with net income, you do adjustment. So you do the second approach. So either way, your adjusted income must be the same. So this how it shows you that whether you start from net income or you start from gross income minus allowable expense, you should get the same adjusted income. Alright. Then you continue with whatever information provided to you. You are given a balancing charge, right? All this information given to you on this paragraph. Balancing charge everything. So you have balancing charge of 15,000. And then you have capital allowance brought forward, current year, and then you also have balancing allowance. Then you come to your statutory income. Yeah. And then less loss. Okay. I noted that in the previous semester, all right, most of you, all right, compute unabsorbed loss brought forward in arriving to statutory income. So what you did was, you buat macam ni, insert, right? I just want to show you Command X. You buat macam ni. Then you dapat statutory income. But that is wrong. Right? That is wrong because why? Control Z. Your unabsorbed loss is always against your statutory income. In other words, if you have business 1, business 2, you have aggregate statutory income, then only you minus your loss brought forward. Unless in a certain specialized industry, later you see that if the company is given exemption on the statutory income, the losses is deducted before statutory income. Because why? The government want to reduce your exempt income. Yeah, so that is a different scenario. But under normal scenario, your unabsorbed loss brought forward is always after your statutory income. Okay? Then you have your rental income. Rental income tak ada yang lain-lain You only have expenses. Okay? Okay, tak ada. Rental income, then you have fixed deposit. Dividend from Malaysia is final or exempted. Dividend from Singapore exempted. Then you have your aggregate income. Command, bold, right? And then less annuity. So that's how you'll get to your total income. 369,785. Okay, tell me. Those yang dapat other than 369,785, 339,785, you tak tolak apa?
I just, for the instruction number 1, for
Okay.
that, I salah tengok.
Apa lagi saya tengok? Mana instruction number 1?
For the reading crash too.
Really sekali? Oh really?
For the first instruction,
This
too,
one?
the June 2019, that one.
The stepsister.
Yeah.
So what you
Because
do? 55 plus 15 tu you take it as allowable expense, is it?
Yes, and I how to say, I look at the incurred legal fee kan. I look salah tengok dengan include
So you
legal
claim
fee.
juga yang tu?
Yes.
So you claim 90,000? Bila
No,
you claim,
I just claim 50,000
mana pula datang 50 yang?
because I thought that the incurred legal fee I look at the include legal fee.
Oh, so you ambil 15 allowable? Bukan allowable? Ke macam mana?
How to say I plus 50,000 only, no 65,000 and 150,000.
So that's why lah, macam mana dapat 50 tu?
65,000 minus 50,000.
Oh macam tu pula?
Yes.
Oh, suka hati lah.
Yeah, I misunderstanding the question.
No, even though misunderstanding the statement, why you allow 65,000? Macam mana 65 minus 15? Macam mana boleh jadi net tu? It's two different answers tu, two different payment.
Yeah, because I thought that the incurred legal fee is included in the payment of the 65,000, and I thought that the legal fee is allowed.
Allowable. Okay. Logik. Okay. Boleh terima.
Okay, thank you.
Walaupun salah. Okay, other than that? Banyak jawapan ni. Kat mana pergi salahnya? 785 tu ada, 331 tu tadi sebab that 30,000. Where is that 30,000? 30,000.
38,000 for
Mana dia?
trustee.
Trustee 38, so you allow this. Is it
Yeah.
lower expenses? So you don't add back lah. 38,000.
Yeah.
But that one should not get that different 30,000. That is 38,000. Lagi? Where went wrong?
No, the difference is 38,000.
Oh, you punya 38,000. Okay, that's good. Then you know satu je salah. Satu tick je salah. Okay lah. Other than that? So bila you have done it, alright, then when we discuss the tutorial question, then you know where you went wrong, isn't it? So you are more prepared lah, then you better understand the topic, and then you know where I had done wrong, where I understood it wrongly. Okay, now, okay, assuming that, alright, you have your total income here, the question asks for total income, so that should be your answer. And statutory income of the beneficiary, in order for you to answer number 2, then you have to compute, because you do have accumulation, you have to compute what? In order for you to compute statutory income, what is the next step?
Total income after accumulation and deemed total income.
You kena kira deemed total income. In order to do deemed total income, you kena kira what is the distributable income which is given. You have the accumulation and total income after accumulation. So you're going to use the formula A times B and A times C over B, right? So you should get 338849. Anyone has problem with this? Right, so you have total income, this one, you have to times by your C and divide by your B. Right, so this amount 3 ni you akan dapat 3, yes.
Doktor memang
Sorry?
You are not sharing.
Why I'm not sharing Tipu tak share pula ni. Alah apa ni. Okay, sekejap. Kenapa? Masa bila dia hilang? Lama dah ke baru?
masa doktor tanya kenapa jawapan lain.
Okay. Sekarang ni, can you see the Excel?
Yes.
Okay. So whenever you have accumulation, you have to compute your distributable income. But in this case, you are given the distributable income. So you don't have to compute. But then you put that into the formula. You have to compute distributable income minus accumulation. And then you have total income after, or we don't call total income sini lah, distributable income lah. Right? Distributable income after accumulation is 328 lah. Right, 358 minus 30, then you have 328. Okay, you have to compute your deemed total income. How to use that? You have to use this formula A, C and B. What is A? A is your total income. B is your distributable income. C, right? C is your distributable income after accumulation over 358. So you should get 338849 as your deemed total income. So if you compare your total income and your deemed total income always is lower. Right? So how many of you not clear about this formula? Okay, yeah? No problem?
No, Doctor, clear.
Yeah. Okay, so once you dapat deemed total income, then you use that figure lah. You no longer use total income, yeah? From now on, you're going to use your deemed total income to determine how much is your entitlement. So, but for the discretionary, remember just now how you're going to divide the discretionary portion? The discretionary is 1/4, if I'm not forgot. Mana? Question number 7. Alright, the discrete portion is 1/4 and the balance 3/4 is for Joanne and Amanda. And then shall be paid 1/2 each. Okay. So that's how I compute that. Okay. First Josh is 1/4. So 1/4, alright, the balance is 0.75, right? So the non-discretionary portion is 0.75 divided by 2 because this one you're going to divide between Joanne and Amanda. So what happened is that you have 0.5, salah. You have 0.25, then 0.75. So this one is the non-discretionary, this one is the non-discretionary. And this 0.75 you're going to divide between 2, half-half. So kalau 0.75 divided by 2 jadi 0.3725. 0.375, sorry. Right? That's how you compute your entitlement. Do you get this? So first you have to divide between discretionary and non-discretionary, then only you divide according to the entitlement. So here you have 0.25, 0.375, 0.375, And total income based on 0.25 times by, how do you get 84,713? Anyone?
Deemed total income times 1/4.
Very good. Right, that's how you compute your deemed total income times 1/4. And this one is the deemed total income times by 0.375 or deemed total income times by 3/4 times by half. Boleh juga. Yeah. Similarly for these two lah. Yeah. But remember that the amount received is 82,150, but here 123. Okay. And the statutory income, because discretionary, we take the lower, but the non-discretionary, you take whatever amount is entitled to. Right. So that will be your statutory income. And then what else? Jonathan, don't forget you have the accumulation is non-taxable. Annuity is taxable on the wife. What about your statutory income or tax liability of the trust? Then you go further, you want to compute the statutory income of the trust. All right, statutory income 369 is this amount, the original amount. Yeah, the original amount. And then whatever you have here is based on whatever that you get from the computation above. You see that? So all these, all right, whatever statutory income from here, right, goes to here. Okay, but in this case, we only require to compute trust, George and Joanne. Right, so tak payahlah ambil yang ni, Amanda, ya. Tapi that amount goes into your SI. Okay, relief is 0, trust is no 0, alright. And then George, kenapa George no relief?
Non-resident.
Non-resident.
And Joanne ada 9,000 relief. So then you compute your chargeable income. Right, and trust is always at 24%. Josh, why 28%? Again, because not 28%. Ini 2019 kan? So it's 28%. Yeah, kalau 2020 is 30%, yeah. But never mind, the rate will be given in your exam. Okay, and Joanne will be on the first time balance. You just show me that first time balance. Sometimes you don't have to show me the computation code. As long as you know that, okay, Joanne is based on this, right? So then you compute lah. Right, okay, the set off, kenapa ada set off ni? Why you have a set off ni? 47 times 49. C47 times 49. Oh, dia buat tax rate. This is a total credit that should be given to the beneficiary. But remember I mentioned that your tax credit given is based on your statutory income. So in this case, alright, dia actually is 82,150. Right, remember Josh is a discretionary trust. The entitlement is 84,713, but statutory income is 82,150. So the section 110 section 110 set off should be whatever statutory income times by the tax paid by the 24%, which is the tax rate for the trust. So it should be 19,716 given as a tax credit. But for Joanne statutory income is 127, right? 127, it should be the amount which is entitlement lah, yeah. So kalau I darabkan dengan 24%, memang you akan dapat 3496. So that is the tax credit by. So then you compute a tax liability lah. Okay. So in this case, tax rate set off. Ni tak adalah set off. Kenapa nak bagi set off kat sini? Tak ada kan? So tax liability. So this one is whatever you have chargeable income times by 34%. Common C, common V. Silap. It should be like this. Common X. It should be here first, right? This one is your tax liability. Common V, right? So here is balance of tax. Right, but here would be the same lah because trust tak ada credit. Tapi Josh initially dia 23 but dia ada tax credit of 90. So you just take the sum of that. Alright, instead of paying 23,000, kenapa ni? Instead of paying 23,000 which is the tax liability, but because ada tax credit tax paid by the trust, right? That's why you only have to pay the balance 3,286. But in the case of Joanne, because I don't actually have this 118, right? Ada siapa-siapa nak tolong kira untuk I tak? 118, the first is 10,900, right? The balance is 118 minus 100,000. Anyone? Times by
4336 times by 24%.
24 kan? Okay, so total is total 15,236, and then you have the tax credit of 30,000. So what would be the tax refund in this case? 15,000. Right, so in this case, Joanne will have a tax refund of 15,260. Balance of tax liability namanya / tax refund. Kalau dalam bracket. So it means that if it's in the bracket, it's a tax refund. So that's how we actually assess you on this topic. Dah. Settle. So look at the allocation of marks. Alright, you just show me what is the tax rate, and then I don't actually give you tax liability, tak ada pun markah kat situ because alright, kalau dah salah kat atas salah lah kan, but how to compute here is very important ya. The tax credit is given based on your statutory income times by 24%. Then you have the balance. Yeah, so that is on the second part of the question or the third part of the question. So that would be your sama je. Okay, question? Which one you are not clear? Which one you rasa kenapa macam tu? So kalau I bagi quiz esok boleh lah kan? Topik trust.
Doktor,
Yes.
the statutory income for Joanne and Amanda kan which is lower between amount received and also total
Kenapa?
income lah.
Why?
The statutory income not the amount received.
Okay,
Sebab
first
lower.
question, what is the type of trust for Joanne and Amanda?
Non-discretionary.
So then how you decide?
Yeah. Alright. My bad. Okay, thank you Doctor.
Alright, that's good. Next.
Doctor, I have a question.
Yes.
Regarding the statutory income for the wife is 36,000, right?
Yes.
And then what if the trust fee is allowable? I mean,
Then
for the
kalau trust tu is allowable, right? Okay, it's just like this how. Income received by the wife, assuming that they receive income from the trust, in managing the trust, the income is still taxable on her as an employment income.
Okay, thank you.
Tapi
So,
I tak letak kat sini lah. I just selalu kita akan assess on the annuity to itself lah.
Oh, but if allowable, so 4B, right?
4B, yes. Even though kalau is because dia dapat income, katalah you dapat income 30,000 from the trust for managing the trust, right? Is for trust income tax is not allowable expense, but to the recipient is an income which is chargeable because why you are paid because you are employed, you doing it whether to be assessed as under section 4B ke 4A ke, I don't know. Depends, right? But in this case, sepatutnya not 36,000 lah. You can add on the trust, mana trust. management, the 38,000, it should be here also tau. Tapi tak tahulah, skema tak pernah terfikir pula soalan tu. But it's a good question. Right? I nak letaklah jawapan I. Campur. No. You boleh letak 74,000 juga. Tapi as of previously, the assessment is on the annuity lah, sebab kita actually income from the trust. Okay, sebab hold on ya. Di mana soalan tadi? Mana ini PDF? Hilang. PDF. Mana PDF? Dia tertutup sendiri lah. Loh. Don't tell me it's not saved. Ada dah pula. Okay, apa-apa kita save dulu. Ini tutorial, ini revision. Alright, revision siapa nak benda ni, I boleh bagi. What else? Hilang. Hai, kenapa tak keluar ni? Excel tak nak keluar dah. Okay, ada. Pergi mana lah? Nyorok kat mana? Okay. Any question? Okay. So today, alright, we have done tutorial 5, 6, 7. Now is your week 3 or your week 4?
Week 3.
So kita dah habis dah topik estate and trust. Okay. So kalau
I have a question.
Oh, you have a question, yes.
For the annuity accumulated, right, is it deducted after statutory income or after the distributable income?
Lagi sekali?
For the annuity accumulated, is it deducted after the statutory income or after the distributable income?
Annuity is always after your aggregate income. Here. Is that your answer?
For annuity accumulated, is this different?
Dia tak boleh. Dia two different thing. Annuity, accumulation. Kalau annuity means that the trust pay the beneficiary. Alright, so the beneficiary actually receive the amount. But kalau accumulation is paid, put aside. You don't pay to the beneficiary until she reaches certain age. So kalau annuity is always against your aggregate income, tapi kalau accumulation is always after your distributable income. Does that answer?
Yeah. And then one more question. How do we differentiate between annuity paid and annuity payable? Because sometimes
kalau kat sini, alright, annuity payable must always here payable. Always annuity payable. Even though the trust only paid 30,000, but what you claim is 36,000. The annuity payable. Okay? Lagi? Any one of you have received your textbook?
Me, yes, doctor, I received.
Mine just
Ada dah pandai.
Tak dah doktor, kena
Just
revise.
receive. Baru receive tadi.
But I have shared, you all realise that I have shared the mana I punya classroom dah hilang juga. Kenapa ni ah? I pun tak tahu kenapa ini. Okay, dalam classroom I have actually shared the 2019 punya trust chapter.
Yes.
Yeah, in case you need to refer, you have not received your textbook lah. Okay, alright. So indeed, if there is any more question?
So far, no, doctor.
No, yeah. So mean that yes.
Someone asked in the chat box.
Okay, now how to differentiate different D and ND? Number one, very clear. Kalau dia ada mention deemed fit by the trustee, that one is discretionary. And if you see very clearly, alright, the entitlement without the deemed fit tu, then is non-discretionary. Boleh? Am I answering your question, Shar? Shar 24. Oh, okay, doctor. Okay. Alright. So sometimes yes, the question is not very clear. Macam mula-mula tadi kan kita tengok soalan ni kan. Ish, Jaws ni macam ni kan. Receive 1/4 of the trust will be paid at the discretion of the executor. Dia mention 1/4, lepas tu ada discretionary. So you nak kena ambil apa? You ambil yang discretionary ni, you ambil kuat sikit lah. So dia jadi discretionary trust. And Joanne and Amanda paid 1/2. So bila 1/2 tu doesn't mention about the discretionary ke apa, jadi non-discretionary. Alright, other than that, question ni clear tak? This one macam ni, 1/3 is non-discretionary and the balance deemed fit. So that one is discretionary. Right, if you look at the question, you boleh tengok terus, oh ni discretionary, so you decide terus. To be divided equally between, so this one is non-discretionary. Yeah, so katalah dia ada buat to be divided equally at the as the trustee deemed fit. Yang tu you ambil discretionary. Bila ada je trustee deemed fit tu mesti ada discretionary. Yeah. Any more question? Okay.
So far okay, doctor. Just need to revise question 6 back.
Okay.
Question 7 back.
You redo, alright, you redo your question. Alright, the question 5, 6, 7 tu. Kalau you are very comfortable means that you are very okay already. Alright. Okay. So with that, I officially concluded topic estate and trust. Okay. So I assume I have to expect that you have understood this topic very well, and actually it goes back to the formulation, right? You do a lot of exercise, then you get used, right? That's why if you look at the answer, right, memang sometimes tak ada marks pun to have this adjusted income, statutory income, aggregate income, but when you practice that will help you to remember the formula better. Right, and then your presentation is better, means that you know what you are doing. Okay, so when if they say that okay my tax com tak clear lah, I think that one you have to put extra effort lah how to actually go back to you punya computation of your chargeable income. Other than that, it's all about this would be a new information regard to how to allocate to your beneficiary. So this one is this is new in this topic lah. Maybe you have not done this before, right? Other than that, this computation, it should be the same, right? It's from your tax one already. Okay, so we conclude this. All right. I want to go back to you punya assessment. Kat mana assessment you all? Where is your assessment? My drive. Let me see if you have it. Hilang I punya tu. Classroom. Do you have here? Share. This is your course outline. We have 30 minutes more, right? So I just want to discuss a bit on the assessment. Mana assessment? I think that kat mana assessment? I'm not used to your course outline yet. Error. Okay, okay, you say that is here you have test is 10% only, and then you have individual assignment, and then you have a group project. Alamak, hilang ah. Lambatnya. Oi, apa ni? Okay. Alright, you have tax of 10%, individual assignment 15%, group project video and group project poster. That carries 25%. So I'm not sure whether I want to stick to this. Must I stick to this or not? Your individual assignment, eh? Oh, I see. You tak ada group exercise. Okay. So if can I have this as your group exercise rather than individual, because I have about 60 of you. I nak mark 60 individual assignment. I don't think I can do that. Alright. I already have group project, but here you have 25. I only allocate 20% here. Alright, group project, how is it going to be? I don't think it's going to be video. It could be in words. Never mind. Okay. I'm thinking to do the same as what we have for our okay. Before we look into that, okay. Now we have done your estate and trust. So we're supposed to do dia bagi dia bagi 3 weeks je trust. Normally orang estate 1 minggu, trust 2 minggu. Okay, never mind. We are on track. Don't worry. So today is already the second class, right? So on Sunday, alright, you have tax incentive for specific industries, tax for specialized industry, tax audit, tax investigation, tax planning, current issues. Actually, I only have to teach these 2 topics only. All others are your job. Okay. But tax planning, I will cover this topic. Alright, tax planning. This one I will do it. Current issues also, hold on. Tax audit, tax investigation, nothing much pun. Executed. Okay. Alright, let me share with you in 15 minutes. Ni dia. Hold on ya. Give me some time. Patutnya kita dah stop recording. Hold on ya. I stop recording jap. Nanti nak kena adjust. Meet. Should I have stopped long time ago? Stop recording.